Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Apply the appropriate greeting. Welcome to another episode of Rising Lights. I'm gonna own up right now. I'm late for our own show. I completely forgot that we pushed it back to the Friday because of work-related timings for the guest and my co-host Kitsune, not being able to match it up perfectly. We'll get into a bit of that once we've introduced the guest in a minute, because it pertains to where this guest is from. As usual, the song we came into was a part of the planned song. It was Evergreen, and as per usual, there's the group right there on screen if you're watching on YouTube or live on Twitch, or even the VOD on Twitch. There they are. And I'm going to do the commands in chat, which is !Cody and !part of the plan. Just to give you a little bit of information, if you want to go and follow them on their socials, go and add their music to your own library on Spotify, then you can go and do that on the links. And then on the part of the plan command, there is also a clip from when we had Wraithbound CA, who is Cody, the lead singer of part of the plan, on the podcast on episode 4. And we sort of asked him what the group's views were on DMCA and their stance on people using their music. Long story short, they basically say have at it. They love to see what creators come up with using their music, whether it's just background music for streams or in some sort of montage on YouTube. They enjoy seeing what people come up with. So if you're gonna go and do something like that, maybe hit them up with a tag on Twitter or whatever, and maybe they'll give you a few compliments. But with that being said, we're gonna get the guest and my co-host Kitsune to come on in. So Kit, Dragos, if you want to say hello.
Hey, little late, but we're here.
So so what exactly happened, right? Obviously we normally do the podcast on a Thursday night for me and Kit, and usually it is somebody who is either in our time zone, being UK or EU, maybe an hour or two ahead, because I think Civics was an hour ahead when we had him on. Mm-hmm. Or it's one of the US guys and they're a couple hours behind, so 5 to 8 hours behind. And there's Ronan in the chat with all the love and my charges. So obviously, usually, the reason we do it at 10 p.m. is typically because it's what works for us. Do you know what I mean? In making it so that the US guys can tune in and can take part when we want them as a guest. This week I hit Dragos, or do you mind me calling you by Adam? Obviously I'll
it's all good. Either or.
I'll bring up your about section so people can see it. But yeah, so I contacted Adam and I was just like, dude, let's get you on this week, sort of thing. What time's good for you? Because I know obviously he's from New Zealand, so you're miles ahead of us in hours. It's not it's not like a couple hours. It's literally 9 a.m. for him tomorrow morning. Nearly 10
I'm
because
so glad
obviously I am
coffee.
so late.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously when I explained to him, oh yeah, we do it at 10 p.m. on a Thursday. Hey Ronan, thanks for that gifted sub to Dragos.
Thanks for that, Ronan.
But yeah, when I explained to him we do it on a Thursday night at 10 p.m. our time, I was like, that'll be about 9 a.m. your time, won't it? And he was like, yeah. I was like,
yeah.
Are you good for that? And it was something along the lines of you have to be at work for 10:30, so we wouldn't have you for the entire time anyway. So it was just like, okay, well, let's see if we can just like put it back. And then I was like, we could do it Friday morning. And then I remembered Kit works. So we couldn't do it Friday morning because Kit wouldn't be here. It would just be me and Dragos. So it was like, how's Saturday morning for you? And he went, pretty good. Just like, well, Friday night works for me. I'll check with Kit. And I checked with Kit. And then I end up being late because I've gone into the document, seen last week's information. And I'm like, cool, it's Friday. Chill. I was actually in Wig's chat and stream, just chilling. Playing some Apex with Wig, so big shout out to Wig over there. Because we had a right old laugh when Kit turned up.
He's such a cool guy to hang out with. Everything else you have planned just flies out of the window.
Yep, pretty much.
I'm glad you enjoyed that message, by the way.
Yeah, that message was fucking brilliant. I've closed Steam, otherwise I'd get it up.
I've still got it open if you want me to post it somewhere, but
in fact, you know what? I'll just open it. Where can I find it?
Do it.
Can I get it in here? No, I don't think I can. I don't even know where I can fucking find it, to be honest.
Steam is weird.
Can I do this?
It's
comment.
Could you not look at it through friends and chat? Or no, it probably wouldn't show you it, would you? Because it's not the color.
Oh well, fuck it. Basically, he said, that's nice armor you've got there. Because obviously I'm playing Apex. Will that protect you for being like half an hour or more late for your own podcast?
Yeah.
I was just
like,
I was like, wait, you just said something about an armor. It must be in your stream wig.
So good, because we were just sitting here laughing about it.
We were, yeah. I figured I'd give you a little bit of time, just sort of like send your ping on Discord. I was like, okay, well,
I didn't even see that until I joined.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, maybe he won't have got that ping, but I know he probably has Discord open because he's talking to Wig. I can hear him.
But it's funny, like, it just goes to show everybody's fucking human. We always forget things.
Yep.
All right, let's get into this then. So usually what we tend to do, Dragos, I can't remember whether you managed to catch Sev's episode like right on episode 2. Or any others since. But we want you to give a little bit of an introduction to who you are, what you do on Twitch, what sort of games you play typically.
Nice and easy.
And yeah.
Oh gosh, the cable's already tangled around me. I need some real good cable management around here. Yeah, so anyway, just give you guys a quick little rundown of what I do. Is I'm basically a variety channel. So I go from things like just chatting to Call of Duty, Minecraft, a little bit of art every now and then. And the main idea behind my streams is it's just a place for people to come and chill out if they want. And pretty much anytime I get people in or like have played games with people, it ends up being a lot of fun. And I try to get chat involved as much as I can, always asking them questions or like saying, oh, do you think this would be a funny idea? Or like, how do you think we should go about this? And usually it's just a great way to chill out and include people, even though they feel like they're just names in a chat.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a lot of things, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
You want to just try and include as much people as possible.
Yeah.
I've just noticed that Kit added more topics since I actually loaded these ones up, so I'm just adding
not many more.
No, so I'm just
2, maybe 3.
Yeah, 2.
Actually, what's interesting about today's sourcing of topics is that some of them I didn't even search for. I've done such a bad job of finding things for today's episode that I had my best friend search for stuff while I was playing a game of cards with my brother.
I know there was one of them. Best way to do it. One or two of them that I like grabbed and.
Yeah, a couple of them you put in, so I've moved those to like the actual links and stuff.
Yeah.
As I normally do. So
this is the thing. Yeah, that's the thing though. Like I've said to you before, I will typically leave the topics to you just because you're more articulated. You're
Am I
more
really?
in. You're more into like
The person that doesn't talk is
reading
more
news.
articulated.
I mean, like you more into reading stuff
No,
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
essentially more educated, if you will,
No.
into
Mm.
understanding how certain things work within a topic. Me, because I've done media, like as a qualification, I look at a lot of
I know
articles
that.
and I see the fucking biased. So I'm just
Oh,
there
so
like
you're also the media student?
yeah, I instantly just
Yeah.
tune out and get bored
Oh
instantly.
yeah,
So
Fair enough.
it's
Like
a force
there,
of
I will
habit that
typically
ingrained in you.
yeah, I will
yeah,
literally typically leave it to you. But if I see something I'm like, that'd be interesting for us to talk about,
yeah.
then I'll throw the link in and then you can
Like one
decide
of
whether
the
we fucking use it or not.
yeah. I mean, one of the links was a tweet from yesterday that I saw this morning. I was like, okay, we're talking about that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, so how long have you like been on Twitch then, Dragos? Have you been here for a while?
Uh,
Or...
so lengthwise, I really started streaming a bit more frequently last year, probably around June-ish.
Yeah.
Oh shit! It's been about a year since I've like started streaming more regularly. But at random points, I just had to take long periods of breaks because of my last job as a pretty much lecturer to exchange students who couldn't get into New Zealand because of COVID regions.
Yeah.
So because of that, I had to take long breaks every now and then, and only now, after moving for about the 11th time in the past in 11 months, I finally like started to figure out some kind of stream schedule again, which is amazing. So this week has pretty much just been like me trying to get back into the groove and
Yeah.
have a bit of fun with it.
Funnily enough, on our updates, we did like an updates episode for 22. I basically announced that I was changing my personal like stream schedule, just
Ooh,
so I have more time with my family and stuff. And then
that's always a good way to do it.
Kit obviously announced as well that the reason he'd sort of stopped streaming temporarily was he was looking for work. Now he's found work, he wants
Mm.
to sort of get back into it, but he needs to let his schedule sort of settle down. So, that
Yeah.
is something that we can like completely understand when you say, scheduling and trying to
Ooh.
get settled back into it, stuff like that.
It's only just now
Um,
figuring out how I can do it.
yeah, yeah. So see, so for anyone who is interested, Trep, Kit, how did you meet Dragos? I met Dragos through Sev, who we obviously mentioned not too long ago. Can't remember what it was. I think you just like ended up in his chat one night or something, or you met him
Yeah,
through Twitter or something like that, and you was chilling with
pretty
him,
sure.
and then me and you just got talking in his chat because I met him through Twitter, and
Yeah, yeah. It was just
uh,
like that one night where because I'm pretty sure he was in a Discord with a few people that I know as well. I
yeah.
saw his thing. I was like, oh, this guy looks pretty chill. Like, I may as well, you know, have a look and see what he's like. Got in his chat, and I couldn't leave that entire stream. I was just like, oh,
Mhm.
this is fun.
I mean,
Yeah, we flooded
it
his
doesn't.
chat with just talking back and forth.
Yeah, Ronin just put in chat. Sev, I haven't spoke to him in ages. He's another person that's sort of been trying to find his groove with regards to scheduling and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Obviously he got himself a job. I think it was just after COVID started up, right?
just after, yeah.
Or it might have been just before at Target in the US. Because he's from California. If anybody didn't know about that.
And then he had
And
that like 2 week period where he had to quarantine himself. That
yeah,
was
yeah.
interesting.
Because there was a worker that had been in contact with somebody who had the virus.
Yeah.
Which ended up being great for a stream because obviously everybody who wanted to see him streaming was there, sort of hanging out and stuff.
Yep.
But then also it's like he goes back to work and he's busy as fuck. Do you know what I mean? So
Oh yeah, he gets swamped so quick.
yeah, so he finds time here and there to stream. I've seen his thing come up in my Discord a few times. Like, I always say to anybody who wants to, like, so obviously when we have people on the podcast, last week what we didn't add Crisscross to my Discord or Miss KK, because Miss KK wasn't too sure whether she was gonna make it anyway, because she was getting her second shot of the COVID vaccine. Ended up that she was feeling under the weather, so she wasn't able to make it. So we had just Adam, again, Crisscross, on last week, and it was actually a pretty great episode anyway. So it worked out, and but yeah, we did that because they're both in our clan Discord, because they're in our clan that me and Kit are in. Just wipe it. We just thought, fuck it, we'll drag them into my live channel that's in that Discord. Do you know what I mean? It makes no sense to get them both to come over to my Discord.
Makes it nice and easy.
Yeah, so it was. I always say though, to where I was going with this is, if you at any point, and this goes for anybody who was previously, I guess, on the podcast, you know, Sev, right the way up to Chaps, Grandad Gaming, if you feel like you want to leave the Discord because the notifications of, like, Dragos, Noob, me, Fiend, Ronan, like everybody that's in there that's linked to their Twitch, the notifications of, say, members' streams are doing your head in, then feel free. Like, I don't feel like you have to stay in my Discord, you know what I mean? But at the same time, because of the fact that it's mainly used for the podcast, you know that, for instance, if you wanted to go and find someone new to watch play Destiny or Apex or any other potential given game that I've played, that we've had the person on the podcast and you've seen the podcast episode, you know, an easy way to go and find them is just go to the members stream section of my Discord. Do you know what I mean? So if you want to go and hang out with them, chill, maybe reach out and collab sort of thing, that's basically, it's, whilst yes it can be annoying that the notifications will keep coming up, I feel like if people don't want to use it as a tool, that's completely up to them, but that's essentially why I've set it up that way, is so it is a tool for everybody to find each other. Do you know what I mean? So with that being said, let's get into the topics for this week.
Yeah, so first up, we're starting with the Twitch stuff.
Yeah, Twitch announcing the API endpoints.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. So, I haven't really touched stream schedules much since I set one up and then didn't stick to it. So, what happened? I planned to.
Kind of like
There was
me
a
on the
plan there.
podcast tonight.
Okay, right. I'm not trying to bring that up on you, okay? But right.
But still,
you can now programmatically update them. So they're adding new API endpoints for updating your schedule, adding and removing and updating segments. So okay, you've got this segment, and it's always going to be this. But let's say, let's say you put the podcast on your schedule, right?
Yeah.
But you don't always know who the guest is going to be until like a couple of days before or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you have, like, I don't know, a web page, an API, or something to cause this API to update that, like, the day before, whatever, at a certain time from, I don't know, a text file somewhere, or your bot, or whatever. So that when anyone comes and looks at the schedule and goes, oh yeah, we've got the podcast on, it'll tell them, like, who the guest is going to be and stuff.
Yeah.
Not that you couldn't just go and update that manually anyway. I'm sure there'll be, like, other things that you could do, like...
well, this is the thing. Dunes was in my chat the other day, and he turned around and put exclamation point Rising Lights in the chat, and I was like, shit, yeah. Do you know what? I really should have a command that links to the podcast. So I've got that on my list of things to do.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
It's the thing with like anyone's stream. You just get this large list of things you need to put in, and you always forget about it.
Yeah.
One thing that I do like about this, though, other than the ability to be able to change all these programmatically, is the second endpoint on that list.
Calendar icon.
Yeah. So, iCal is a very widely used calendar format. You can put it into like Outlook or your iPhone, or you can put it on Android as well, or Google Calendar. And it basically, you can have your schedule that you update, right? And then someone checks that into their device or whatever, and it will have on their calendar what you've put in your schedule. So you could have, like, let's say I want to know who's live when in the clan. We could have, programmatically using this endpoint, a series of calendar files for the schedule of everybody in the clan. And just go, okay, this calendar has all of these people marked in different colours and stuff, and you can see when people are live, like the next week, the next 2 weeks, or, whatever.
Yeah.
Provided that, everyone in the clan's live at a certain time, and it's always like about then on the schedule. And sometimes you have people who just like stream whenever, just because they can, like I used to do, and now just don't.
I miss those days.
Yeah, I do a little bit as well, but then also I kind of like the job, so
Understandable.
So yeah, this will be interesting to see what people come up with for them.
See, I read it. I thought, yeah, this is probably something Kit's going to be interested in and be able to explain to me, but I'm not 100% on what it does. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I actually just thought, oh, well, I'm guessing they're giving these API access things so that people can make more, like you get the stream schedule extension.
Yeah.
And you can set your schedule in that. I figured that this endpoint thing would automatically update that. Do you know what I mean? Rather than you having to change it.
So I honestly thought it was going to be tied in somehow.
Yeah. It probably won't be straight out the gate, but I mean, I imagine like this goes out in, even if it goes out in beta access, within a couple of days, you'll have all the people who've got like, I think it was the one for stream elements and stuff that you can have in your panels.
Yeah.
You'll have those that'll just either pull from or update the Twitch schedule page. That is just on every channel. Most people don't use it.
I can definitely say I don't use it.
Neither do I.
No.
We see it, we don't pay attention to it. That's how it works.
If I don't pay attention to it, it's one less thing I have to do.
One less thing I have to update.
Yeah.
One less thing for me to forget.
Is that it shows you the week that's coming up, but for like the past few days, instead of having like, oh yeah, this is what was on the schedule for this week, it'll like show you that stream.
Yeah.
That's good.
Which is nice.
Rip my...
And that would just like, I never knew how long that was going to last, so I'd put it in like 1, maybe 2 hour slots, and then if it lasted 3 or 4, then great. Because it was a case of like, what songs did I play, how hard did I try, and stuff like that. If I was playing, if I was playing difficult songs like back to back to back, I'm not going to be playing the game for as long as if I was playing like songs that I could comfortably play and just sort of chilling. Rhythm games are like that. So I can't put in the schedule for that one that it's going to be like 4 or 5 hour long stream and then cut it off at 2. But because when you look back on it, it's like, oh yeah, I could put it like 1 hour or half an hour in the thing and be like, just say, okay, this is when I'm going to start. So like anyone who comes in for the start of it, sees it on the schedule and goes, okay, that's when it starts. I know I'll come in then, I'm good. And then when you look back, you can just like, instead of like scrolling through all the VODs and stuff, you can just look at the schedule and go, okay, this is the streams that week.
Yeah.
You know,
Nice and easy.
and you can go, okay, well, I was gonna try and watch that one, but I missed a bit of it, so you know. I know I know I was here at 5, and I can see it started at dead on 4:03, so I know, okay, that's the section that I want to watch in the VOD.
Yeah,
So
it's
it
like,
was good, but it's very underused.
yeah. Because I know with something like this, I can't put anything in the stream schedule because it's like I get off work,
Yeah.
get trained and bus home, and then it's like, cool, what time is it? Oh shit, I haven't even eaten yet.
Yeah.
So me sticking to a schedule or putting something on a stream schedule would be just like asking for trouble. I'll go live at this time. 1 hour later, I finished cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. This is the thing as well. Like I've got quite a lot of freedom in that. Once my kids are at school, like, well, I say once my son is at school, I basically have the whole day on the days that I stream, right? Because now that I've changed my schedule and I'm doing Tuesday and Thursday instead of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm basically, what will happen is, come 11:30 in the morning, I will go and help my fiance get my daughter ready for school. I typically try to start at 10 o'clock. Sometimes I don't start till 11. But no matter what, 11:30 comes, I am going to help my fiance. Right? If it's a day that I stream, Tuesday or Thursday now, I come back up once my daughter's ready and I've seen her off to school with my fiance. My fiance takes her to school. I come back up, do my thing, and then around 2:30, 2:45, I raid someone, and then I'm gone. Do you know what I mean? Like I go and fetch my kids from school with my fiance.
You've got that routine.
Yeah. Whereas on the days that I'm not streaming, so like my off days, so a Monday for argument's sake, or like today before because obviously the podcast got put back, I will help my fiance get my daughter ready at 11:30, and then we'll leave at like 11:45, and both of us will walk my daughter to school. Because, you know, it's family time sort of thing. And then I come back, I chill, I just lurk in streams, I play games, you know, whatever it may be. I've had one day where I was just chilling, watching shit with my fiance on my computer, plus side of having 3 monitors.
Always.
And 2 computers. I can play on one if I really want to, and like stream fucking something on Netflix for me and my missus to watch on the other one. Fuck me.
3 monitors, appease the missus.
Pretty much. But yeah, so like, it's finding that balance, I think, and schedules do help you with doing that. I just like, and I have, out of the 3 of us, I have the easiest time to be able to stick to one because I don't work at the minute. But at the same time, I like, if I have forgotten to do the podcast promo thing that I tweeted out the other day, that you like quote tweeted and said, you know, you're gonna be on Dragos.
Yep.
If I've forgotten to do that on the Monday, I make it Tuesday before I stream, so I might be half an hour late. Do you know what I mean? Because I've spent like 10-15 minutes sorting that out, and then I've got a drink ready, and then I'm sat down, got music ready, chilled to vibe to a bit of music, and then hit the start stream, and boom, there we go. Do you know what I mean?
And that's easy.
But I do try, you know, and stick to latest I'll start is 10:30. But occasionally I go over that. But yeah, so this sort of thing, like I was saying, I think will help with seeing like what developers of those sort of extensions and then obviously what Kit said it had been used with iCalendar and stuff. See what people come up with. I think is going to be quite an interesting thing.
Yeah. It's always good
a
to
bunch
see
of
new
people
things
seem
come
to
into
be,
the hands of
happy about it.
developers.
So.
Yeah. But as happy as I am to see new things with the API, we need some other things to go.
Yep. And
Oh,
here's one of them: webhooks.
And yeah, webhooks. So some of the
Oh,
webhooks, not
gosh.
all of them. Anything that's web sub based.
Mhm.
So one of the things that they do, they've got like 3 different methods to interface with the Twitch APIs. One of them is webhooks. If you have much experience with like the workings of a chatbot, for example, you know about the what was the name of it? Well, I can't remember the name of it. The thing the chatbots use. IRC.
Oh gosh. There you go.
Internet Relay Chat. That's the one. IRC. So we've got event sub announced. Discuss the bill of events based and transport agnostic product. So yeah, so there was pub sub, event sub, and IRC were the 3 main ways, and then you've got like the web APIs, general HTTP requests and stuff.
To be honest, the only interaction I've had with webhooks is setting up the webhook from Discord to the DNA clip bot that I use, which
it's a good tool.
Which is a great tool. I actually recommended it to Wig, and he set it up tonight. And then Sneak, the person who made it, popped into Wig's chat and took on some feedback from Wig, and then also thanked me for recommending it. And has actually given me like the VIP role that is given Civics, Pigeon, and Synchro. So I get a few little bonuses just as like a thank you for me promoting the tool. Do you know what I mean? But honestly, it's so easy. It's so easy to set up, and it's so useful. Anyone who's in my Discord can look in the clips channel of my Discord, and you'll see like DNA or Do Not Argue clip bot post, and it just basically makes a clip for me. You know what I mean? Like, I just exclamation point clip in my chat, and boom, it's there.
Yeah.
That sounds way more useful than just screaming at the chat like, clip it!
Yeah. So obviously, I don't exactly know, but I would imagine he uses slightly better technology than the old web sub hooks.
Probably.
Probably uses a little bit of IRC for getting the thing. You know, if you're getting the chat command from chat, and then you've got probably like pub sub events rather than web sub.
And then what basically how like
my use Helix actually.
He gives you a link.
And
his site gives you a link that you post as like the response from Nightbot, which then ends up being whatever you've told it to clip.
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
Yeah,
it's pretty useful. There's other bots as well that are included, but the reason Wig hadn't used it up until this point, even though I'd recommended it to him close to a month ago, I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago, was that he was using MooBot, and MooBot isn't supported yet. But following the feedback from Wig, Sneak said he's going to look into getting MooBot supported.
I think I saw some of the reasoning behind that before in Wig's chat. And it does. One of the things feels kind of arbitrary to me from the side of MooBot, not Sneak, because it's not really his problem. That one, but it's kind of similar to a weird thing that my brother found in COD earlier. But yeah, the only thing the main concern from this is like it's great that they're adding more things, and yes, you know, the more things you have to work with to maintain, you know, the more developer time and personnel you have not working on things that you could be bringing out.
Kind of like Destiny had to remove a bunch of shit to add new shit.
Yeah.
We're gonna take this thing and push it elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's basically what Destiny did.
Yeah, so you've only got so many people that can work on maintaining things. And in the case of APIs, it's usually a lot more effort than a lot of people would expect. So what I would expect to see from this is most of the tools and stuff that we actually use now, they'll be perfectly fine. Anything
without a
that's
doubt.
old and hasn't like really been updated in the past,
The ones that get neglected.
the ones that like have been overshadowed by newer versions that have been like complete rewrites and stuff, things that like still have the problem that like they're using the wrong embed code on their site or whatever,
Yeah.
so the player doesn't work. You know, things like that. They'll just not work when this eventually dies. And it's still up. It's still like working until around
September.
middle of September.
Yeah,
Yeah.
September this year.
This year.
September.
Um,
So people still have a few months to like
there's
get
a
ready
few
to
months, yeah.
for the transition, which is good.
And you know, when they do things like this, they don't just announce, okay, this is closing on this date, go away. These will have been marked as deprecated for years. You know, normally they say, okay, mark something as deprecated, basically tell everyone who's using our API, basically tell them, this is going to be going away at some point. Don't use it, use something else.
Yeah.
So by this point, you know, if you've got something like I saw it in some of the Java-based APIs for Minecraft mods and stuff, right?
Yeah.
If you've got like versions that are like a year old, you'll find a lot of stuff in the API will be deprecated because it's been rewritten and updated for newer versions of the game, and they brought other things in to replace them, and they're like, okay, something that you would write with like 2 or 3 calls here, you can just do with 1 by that new thing over there. So just go and do that instead.
It's like Arc's mods. One of the mods that they did, that somebody did for Arc, was a thing called Arc Editions, right? And it brought in a whole bunch of creatures, including the bigger version of the Sarco. I can't remember what the fuck it's called, even though I was watching a video from Syntac about it. But the Deinonychus that are now creatures that are exclusive to the Valguero map, like you can't get them on any other map, you only get them from Valguero. They were part of the Arc Editions mod. So when Valguero came out, because there was 2 versions of the Deinonychus, the Arc Editions one kind of got broken, then the guy fixed it, then he was like, well, there's no point in having 2 versions of Arc Editions and a normal Deinonychus because they can't breed with each other and people might get confused. So he completely removed it from his mod and then turned around and went, I'll just put another creature in there instead.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how you just explained it there is to me, the way I was understanding it was, in that scenario I just gave with Arc, the Arc Editions mod Deinonychus became deprecated by the official Deinonychus, so the mod creator just went, yeah, bye-bye, let me get something new in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I imagine any of the interactions that he had with other dinos and other things in his mod would then be rerouted and pointed to go, okay, you're not using this particular reference anymore, you're using that one.
Yeah. But stuff like this, I find it interesting because I want to sort of try and understand more about the ins and outs of things like this. But at the same time, I've not done any sort of like course, you know, like you've done your coding thing, Kit. Like I've never done anything like that. A friend of mine did ICT, like computer technology, in sixth form, and he was learning binary as part of that. And I was like, I was just blown away by that alone. Do you know what I mean? So I never went any further into stuff like this because I kind of just felt like I was too stupid for it, essentially. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I like something I like, and it's really, really cheesy. But if you were to like read it as normal, it's like a shirt or like a mug or whatever that says, there are 10 types of people in this world. Those that know binary and those that don't.
Oh my
god. If you know binary.
There we go.
Welcome back, Ronan.
But because it's big, normally we count in like base 10, so it's not actually 10.
Yeah.
It's 1 0, which is 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh.
And it is just a big joke. But I just love it because it basically just encapsulates a lot of programmer humor.
Yeah.
And like, there's this thing that we know, and we know it's a weird thing to know in like general populace.
Yeah, maybe
But,
useful at some point.
But yeah,
Exactly. Speaking of things that, you know, I don't even know where I'm going with this segue, to be honest. I was going to say things that are weird, but it shouldn't be weird. Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't
what is
be.
weird is the name. I don't get the name.
Yeah,
I probably
don't get the name
know
either.
about it.
Yeah.
I could probably look more into it, and I probably should. But
I honestly think they called it that just because it's on June 19th.
Probably. They probably could have come up with a better name for it, like a more symbolic name or something that like actually tells you something about what it is. But sure.
Would be smart, but apparently not.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I mean, it does say
just for the clarification, you know, for anybody who doesn't know, we three right now are all white males, right? From me and Kit are from the UK, and you're from New Zealand. So like maybe as it pertains to, you know, you can see here, it's an important day in black culture on June 19th or Juneteenth as the ending of slavery in the United States. Maybe that's why we don't understand it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's pertaining to the ending of slavery in the US.
So there's a few things. One, given that, you know, we're not in the US, we're not in the demographic that we're not in like the group of people who usually celebrate this day.
Yeah.
And
we should.
Because of both.
We all should.
Yeah,
over the entire world celebrate the abolishment of any kind of slavery, in the way I look at it. But
because of those two things, then we haven't seen this term, this
that's
event,
what I was
the
getting
name
at.
of this event, as much as we probably should have seen it. Which is what I was saying. Is like Twitch celebrates Juneteenth. What is Juneteenth? I'll be honest. It's the first time I've seen the word.
Yeah,
it's like we're on the outside looking in. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like they've just said this thing. They're showing it to us for like one of the first times, and they're like, "This is what we're gonna do," and it's like, okay, a little bit more explanation would be nice.
Yeah,
but like just looking at it, there's so many good ideas on what they're showing off.
And then, you know, they're like doing all these things.
There's a paragraph here. There's a paragraph here anyway. It says, "Educating yourself and what to do."
Yeah.
Here's a chance.
That's brilliant.
There's a chance you haven't heard of Juneteenth, its rich history, or the significance of this historic holiday. Juneteenth is not only a celebratory day for Black Americans, it's an opportunity for allies to expand their understanding of American history, because Black American history is American history. Take action in support of Black Americans, expand your knowledge, and then gives you a couple of links to sites where you can expand your knowledge.
It's a pretty good idea.
The Twitch community has raised over $310 million raised for charities since 2011. The community has shown they are a powerful force for good. This Juneteenth, consider fundraising for one of the many charities fighting to create equality and justice for Black Americans. And you can find some of these fantastic charities doing this work on Tiltify. Great example is the Bites and Beats Festa from June 18th to June 20th at 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. on /Bites and Beats, a 3-day festival fundraising for NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund, which obviously is going to be a fund that people who can't afford a lawyer or whatever can pull from, I'm guessing. So that when inevitably they break the law and get pulled up for it, or are wrongly accused,
or even if they don't, if they're wrongly accused,
they can have legal counsel provided for them. which everybody deserves anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, like now I've read that, I understand it a bit more. I'm like, yeah, hell, this is a fucking great thing that they're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. And like, in all honesty, just from using my media brain here, they should have put this educating yourself just
should
after
be
the
further,
introduction to
yeah.
Juneteenth.
Yeah, they should have done it
Because
right at the
if
fucking
someone
top.
doesn't know about it, and they're scrolling through all this information of stuff
Yeah.
about what people are going to be doing, they're going to be like, okay, I need more context. Like, where am I going with this? Because we got the introductory part, and then we got like all these events that they've got scheduled.
Do you want me to be honest?
Like, it's good to see how much they got scheduled.
If we didn't have this as a topic for the podcast, and let's say we didn't even do this podcast, and I seen this article tweeted out by Twitch support or whatever, I'm like, I would check it out because I'd be like, oh, what's Juneteenth? And then I would look and I'd be like, okay, read the first paragraph, right? And then I'd be like, okay, that's cool. They're doing something, nice to celebrate the abolishment of slavery. All right, bye. And I'd close the article.
Yeah.
That's it. I wouldn't even read the rest of it, just because personally, I wouldn't be drawn into, because I didn't understand it, what this is. Do you know what I mean? I would just be like, oh, okay, it's something that they're doing to celebrate the abolishment of slavery, which is a good thing. And boom, and I'd have carried on my merry way. But like you said, if they'd have put that bit I just read about what it is, the educate yourself, if they'd have put that like above the this year thing, like in between these two paragraphs here, we'd have I'd have read that and gone, oh, okay, so I need to, like, I'd have read the little mini title, educate yourself, like, oh, okay, so let me educate myself about what this is. I'd have read it like I just did. And then I'd have been like, oh, okay, this is like a charity thing. They're helping people out with, that are struggling and part of the minorities that are frowned upon wrongly, and are affected by like systematic racism and shit. Like, do you know what I mean? So like, I would then be like, okay, this is a great thing. Maybe I'll tune into one of these events that they're putting on live, like, at least the first one, which is basically explaining what it is then and now, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
as I'm just, I don't want to detract from anything, right? But
in the end, here's the thing. Just quickly before you go, Kit. Even worse, I've just realised it's at the end of the article.
It is at the end of the article. So it's at the end of the article. It needs to be a lot further up, and they have 4 different links. They all have different enough information in them. I have one problem with one of the links, and that is the second one. So you want to learn about Juneteenth, which is probably great content. However, it's a New York Times post.
Oh,
and the problem I have with the New York Times is that their website requires a subscription.
Oh no!
Or you can have like 3 articles a month by registering.
And here's the other thing: New York Times is renowned for being biased. Like,
they really
biased.
No, so while that is there, they do have 3 other links that give you, a decent amount of information.
And it gives people a good source to pull from if they, like us, haven't heard of this before.
Like, you've got PBS, you got the New York Times. If you look at those and you go, I don't really like those companies, they have a weird bias, or I'm not a fan of the way they express things. Britannica right there. You're fucking learning for justice. Solid resources. They just need to be more prominent. Because they've found different ways to appeal to different audiences.
And like coming from actually teaching something, one of the things that I would say to my students when I'm teaching them is, if you've got to put something which is important to your work or whatever you're trying to explain, it needs to be higher in your list. So if you've got your introduction, got your main body of paragraphs and you have an explanation later on for that first paragraph, you're going to lose people really quick because they might not know the full context.
100%.
And like this is
That's where
clearly
I
a
was
case
going.
of that.
That's where I was going with it. It's clearly somebody who doesn't know how to like. It's a blog, yeah, and it's essentially a patch notes, if you will, for Twitch, right, and what's going on Twitch.
Hmm.
But it's clearly somebody who doesn't have a media / article writing background. Do you know what I mean? And like you said, Dragos, and obviously me and you both agree and know this. Kit knows this because he's fucking brainy as fuck. And as many times as he wants to call himself stupid, I will not let him.
I'm not saying it's stupid, it's just you give me too much credit.
We all understand that this is an important piece of information and needs to be near the top so that it doesn't lose people who don't, as you said, understand the full context.
But like all the stuff they got there
Big brain
seems like
kitsune.
great
See,
ideas.
even Ronin agrees with me.
Yep.
But yeah, I fully fucking support something like this. If I had money to throw at charities like this, I would. Like it's the same with the GCX thing. We've got GCX going on right now with within the Destiny community. Obviously, it started as Guardian Con, but it's now GCX, which is the Gaming Community Expo. I actually have plans to try and save up to fly out and go to the live event next year if I can afford it.
Ooh.
So maybe anybody who's going to that might see me there, and I'll obviously closer to the time update people whether we are fucking going. But the point is, they do a charity stream alongside that, like for the week run up to the event, and usually the live event is at the weekend, and then anybody that's not coming to the event but is part of like the stream teams or whatever, they are still live whilst the event's going on so that people can donate, and it all goes to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. If I had the money, I would like kids hospitals, anything to do with helping towards like stopping racism, sexism, that kind of thing. I would throw money at them because I've always been taught, like from a very young age, we're all human and we deserve to be treated equal. Do you know what I mean? So, and then obviously with regards to St. Jude, they're helping sick kids. Like, how can you not want to help them? So,
without a doubt.
Hey, and there's Dex Laxius. Thanks for the follow an hour ago, by the way, Dex.
Hey.
Which is I know you from Kit's chat, so
yeah, he's really helped me out today.
But yeah, so let's move on into the Microsoft bringing next gen Xbox games to the One.
But between Twitch and Destiny, we just sometimes end up with just stuff that's going on in general.
Yeah.
And this is one of those, sort of miscellaneous topics, gaming in general. But yeah, one of the things that is slightly irritating with the new series consoles is the way they handle games that are designed for them.
Yeah.
They don't really run properly on external storage, if at all.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and sometimes,
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. The podcast isn't for shit like that.
Yeah, sometimes you just either can't get hold of the later console, like you can't really get hold of the Series X here or in places.
It's a really difficult to find them here as well.
Yeah. So this would be an interesting option, at least until you can get your hands on the next generation console. Is that they're bringing the next generation Xbox games to the Xbox One via their cloud streaming service. And I'll be honest, it works pretty well. If you can play a game that was like built for Xbox One on your phone, once they've upgraded their server blades to use the new Series hardware instead of the One X hardware, I don't see why this would be any more difficult. In fact, it might even be better running on Xbox One because you've got a more a more finely tuned connection to the controller.
I think like at the moment the like only real potential hiccup I can see with this is when they do this sort of thing of letting people play the next gen games through the iCloud service, you can run into the problem of if it is too optimized for the next gen, like if it's pretty much purposely built for the next gen, how well is it going to run on the previous one?
And that's what I was saying with this is that because of the way that this works, it doesn't.
It works kind
none
of like
it
GeForce Now, doesn't it?
It's the same as GeForce Now. So the game runs on their server blade, which is why I was saying it's got to wait for their upgrades.
It's so it's essentially running on an external Series X or PC, if you will, over on their side, and then streamed the game to you so that you can see it and play it. It's basically
pretty much you just gotta hope you don't have lag.
Yeah. So there's going to be a bit of it anyway, based on just how the technology works and stuff. But the game runs on a server or one of the virtual consoles on their server blades, which sends the video to you, and you send controller input to that. Which
seems like a pretty smart business strategy.
Especially since a lot of their focus has been gone less from. I mean, consoles are still a focus. It's still going to be a big market for them. But if they're looking at Xbox as more of a platform, getting the games on PC through their store, cross.
Well, it's like Game Pass, isn't it? Like anything that goes on Game Pass, anything that goes on Game Pass straight from the out of the gate, like Gears of War 5, like Halo Infinite when it comes, crosses over to PC.
But yeah, they're cross progression, cloud save and stuff.
Which is a really useful thing.
Smart delivery. That's for selecting the right version depending on what console you're on. They've got a name for it where you buy it on Xbox and you get a copy of it, a license for it on PC as well.
Xbox Play Anywhere.
Play Anywhere, that's the one. Thank you, Trep.
And so here's an example, right? I was looking at the graphics and stuff for Halo Infinite, right? I was like, there is no way, it being a new game that's coming out later this year, there is no way I'm going to be able to play that on my PC, because my PC barely runs Apex, right? And I have a frame rate cap on Destiny 2 because of my screen, but then also because I don't want to overly work my PC to where I might blow the fucker up. So yeah, I have those things in place, which end up basically being me going, oh okay, I run Destiny on all low, I run Apex on all low, because for me, I was saying it to somebody who came in my chat yesterday, for me, having the game on ultra means zero fucking difference to me. If it'll run on low and give me higher frames, I could care less of having it on high. You know what I mean?
You gotta do what works for you.
But yeah, I was looking at Halo Infinite. I was like, there was no way it's gonna be able to play that. And then I was like, oh, it's coming to Series X and Xbox One. Okay, I can play the Xbox One version. Yeah. And then I found out about this, and I'm like, oh, actually, I could play the Series X version on my Xbox.
I could get the pretty version.
Yeah.
Get the pretty version.
And then I was like, do you know what? Just to make sure, let me check, because obviously I know it's coming to Game Pass, and I will get Game Pass, and I'll have it on both PC and Xbox.
There is one caveat though. It's gonna take them a while to get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But anyway, I looked up the information, the specifications for Halo Infinite on Game Debate, and the system specifications that they have at the moment for Halo Infinite, my PC can run on
That's
minimum.
insane.
It's just outside of the recommended. Just outside of the recommended on my graphics card, I believe. So
Barely
like,
scratching through to get it, eh?
yeah. So the minimum I can do. So I might even just play it on PC.
That could be kind of interesting.
Yeah. And
But,
I'm
like,
just.
oh,
No, sorry.
the
I was
one
just
thing
gonna,
I'm hoping with this
is.
it's like it is a brilliant idea, but I'm hoping they don't get greedy with it and then try to start like adding in little hidden costs here and there.
Yeah.
Called out.
Yeah.
yes, Dune. Imagine.
Yeah. So I want to play on the example that they've got in this article here. One of them, flight simulator. And there's a reason for this. It's kind of two pronged. In that, yes, obviously, if you've got the power of a virtual Series X that's actually doing all the hardware push and stuff, you can get the really pretty version.
Yeah.
And the way I look at it, I can run it on my PC. There's no reason that wouldn't run on an Xbox One X. They just won't let you. And I think there are two things that would be great for this. Is that one of them, the reason why it's on Series and not Xbox One, is that they'll be doing a lot of decompressing and stuff. A lot of the assets will need to be moved very quickly, which they can do with the new hardware.
Oh yeah.
And the other thing is going to be a real benefit for playing it on xCloud rather than on your own device. Is that some of the visual assets aren't actually on the game.
Oh god,
Yeah.
one of the
options
copy
you
pasta.
have. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, that might get interrupted. Okay, I'll try and talk over it if I can, which isn't going to work. One of the things that they do in Flight Simulator, and it's an option that you can enable or disable on the PC, which is why I know about it, is the maps. While you're on the ground at the airports and stuff, obviously, you're going to have all the detailed models and everything. But when you're flying like high up in the air and everything, you don't want a load of your detailed models. But then you also don't want to like constantly be having up-to-date maps like always on the drive and constantly reading from them. So what they've done is they've got Bing Maps. So it regularly polls there and gets information to have sort of like on display at a nice resolution below your aircraft as you're flying across, right? If you're running it on one of their servers in a data center where some of Bing Maps servers are, you're going to have very, very low latency and should be rather quick at downloading those maps.
True.
Which should make the game feel just that little bit extra, just that tiny bit more responsive. Because you're not waiting for any pings and stuff to come back before you load the map, so you'll probably be able to have like fly higher, have more on display at once to increase the rendering.
I am gonna stop us on that one and move us on, just because I am conscious we are getting close to our usual original time. I know I was late, but
the next one's very quick. We're just going from Xbox to Xbox, really.
But yeah, so I was about to segue, saying, speaking of one Xbox topic to another.
Yeah.
The series consoles have apparently been seeing some growth in Japan, which is typically a
least expect.
PlayStation dominated market. Well, PlayStation and Nintendo.
It has been for a long time, and Nintendo as well.
That's like
especially
when
with the Switch.
bulk of their stuff was produced.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a close to home sort of product and software for them.
Yeah, they are also both Japanese companies like Sony and Nintendo. So yeah.
And I like speaking to IGN Japan, Hinton said they've seen phenomenal growth in the last year, with a high percentage of sales coming from Japanese consumers who have previously shunned Xbox consoles in the past.
Yeah.
So not necessarily that they've just chosen PlayStation consoles over Xbox, but actually shunned Xbox consoles. Have gone, yeah, I can get behind you this time.
She's very, very sorry for everything that happened.
Yeah, it says Xbox hasn't had much luck in Japan and is often on the receiving end of some pretty embarrassing sales numbers and a lack of support from Japanese developers. That's apparently changed though, as Hinton has said the region is now Xbox's fastest growing market worldwide,
This.
and that stock is often selling out within minutes.
Yeah. And this, maybe not like the stock selling out within minutes, but this excites me. And there is a very specific reason why this excites me. It's the prospect of the games.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the franchises that I'm interested in, the games were only on PlayStation for so long because that was the biggest market in the region.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got a lot of the Bandai Namco games and a lot of the JRPGs, the visual novels, all those stuff, right? They're not being developed for other consoles because they're generally not in the homes of the people they're trying to get the games to. So if there are more Xbox consoles in homes and people playing on them in Japan, there's a pretty good chance that you'll find some more developers on the platform that might not have otherwise been there.
Which is pretty good because that means not only will we see all these different games potentially coming out, but like if that interest and number of sales continues to increase in Japan, like bigger companies and bigger production companies will jump on board as well and may even port over some of the games they've already made.
Yeah.
And then also you got to look at it in a sense of competition for Sony, right? So
yeah, it's something they've really needed.
First Digimon game on Xbox this year.
Yeah.
That does prove a point.
See?
But like, yeah, so because competition is what gives us growth, right? You think about it. Up until what was it, like halfway through the Xbox One life cycle? It's called Digimon Survive. If anybody is interested. Cool.
That's one I've been following since they announced it.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. About halfway through, I think it was, the Xbox life cycle when they actually, revealed Game Pass and started it up and all that. I think. Don't quote me on that. But we saw where it was going, right? We saw that it was going to be like a Netflix of Xbox games, essentially. Yeah? As well as other developers that wanted to get their games out there and involved. Because whilst, yeah, you can stay on Game Pass and get some sort of revenue share. I can't remember exactly how it works, but I'm pretty sure it's a revenue share. Based on the amount of people that, subscribe to Game Pass or whatever. There's also those people that will buy Game Pass, try out a whole bunch of games that take their fancy on Game Pass, and then will go, oh, well, rather than pay this subscription fee of $15 US, I think it is, £11 here for Ultimate, and I don't know what it is for you, Dragos, but
$14.
Yeah, like, so rather than pay that subscription fee basically every month, because Xbox does these here, have it for £1 at least for us, or have it for $1, whatever in the US. I don't know what the actual difference is, but just going off of my experience in the UK, right? They will say, here, have it for £1 British for a month or for 3 months.
Yep.
I'm inclined to go, you know what? I will pay that £1. I will do those 3 months. I will try out a whole bunch of games on their library. And if I don't want to keep paying for that subscription service, I can cherry pick what games I enjoyed out of the ones I tried on the library, and I can go and pay for those games. So it's not only...
Which is a pretty smart idea in the long run.
It's not only a great tool for, it's the Netflix of Xbox games. It's also a great tool for developers to get the name of their game out there to where people turn around and go, actually, I'm just going to go buy the game. Fuck it. Fuck Game Pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Game Pass is like rapidly becoming the thing. You can tell Xbox is more now focused on, and this is where I was going with the whole like.
I mean, their offering with Game Pass has had a massive boon.
Yeah.
Since the acquisition of Bethesda.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, without a doubt.
But then where I was going with the thing where I mentioned Game Pass was, up until Game Pass was announced and released, it was just, here, PS2 basically was when the original Xbox came out. PS2's out, Xbox is out. Yeah, and I think the GameCube was around at that point as well. And then, 360 comes out. PS3 came out. The Wii and the Wii U eventually came out, and people were just like, well, Wii is clearly out of this fucking race because it runs at like 30 FPS. The other two consoles can handle 60. Cool.
Complete difference.
While yes, the Wii and the Wii U did sell more outside of, your hardcore gamer group. The only real like hardcore gamers you would see playing on a Wii or a Wii U was those that bought it for a specific game, like Mario or Sonic, or because Nintendo owns the rights to those games, right?
Yep.
Same with like a 2DS or a 3DS. Yeah, Pokemon for like 3DS and 2DS, as Dex has just put. And then obviously you had like Pokemon Stadium and stuff like that, like XD and was it XD? Anyway, I digress. The whole point was there was this competition, right, between Xbox and PlayStation, and it was always seen that PlayStation was your single player console because most of their first party titles, like The Last of Us, like Uncharted, like Resistance, Fall of Man, they were mainly targeted as single player games. God of War is another one that comes to mind. Whereas Xbox was seen as your more social platform because their campaigns, whilst yes could be played solo, were designed with community in mind. So I could go and play Halo and have a buddy join me. And then eventually when it came to like Halo 3, I could play Halo and have 3 friends join me. Do you know what I mean? So, like, they've always been this back and forth between the two. And then with Game Pass, Xbox sort of reinvented the wheel and went, okay, screw trying to sell consoles. We're going to try and sell this subscription service. And then this gives our players a better deal. And I find it kind of ironic, to be honest, because the whole tagline for the PS4 was for the players, and it was the first one that Sony. It was the first one that Sony actually charged for the PSN and to be able to play games online. Like, I knew people who were on PlayStation who played Destiny 1 on their PS3 rather than their PS4 because they had to pay for PSN on PS4 and didn't on PlayStation 3, so that they could still play the game on PS3 but they couldn't play it on PS4. Do you know what I mean? So it was like,
one of those things.
And then obviously eventually when it came to, moving on with the times, they eventually turned around and went, oh, okay, I'm playing a lot more games on my PS4. It makes sense for me to buy PS Plus. And then they obviously switched the game over. But
like,
my point being...
PS Plus anyway, they do smart things.
Yeah, my point being, you've got that in place, Game Pass now. And then PlayStation's brought out their own version. What is it, like PS Now or something? Which is essentially trying to do a similar sort of thing. But they're behind at this point, and Xbox is now like turning around and going, oh, okay, we're going to put an Xbox app. We've got the Xbox app on Windows because we're Microsoft. We own Windows, essentially.
And there's people so many chances to play so many more games if they don't have any Xbox.
Exactly. And then you've got, oh, okay, well, now we're in talks with Nintendo to put an app on their devices so that Nintendo gamers can play Xbox games.
Which is honestly an insanely smart business strategy.
Yeah. You've got the xCloud that we've just been on about is on mobile phones. I could connect my Bluetooth Xbox controller to my phone and play a fucking game on my phone. That's fucking
Yeah.
mind
It's
blowing.
Halo on that 16-inch
It's- it-
ratio.
It really feels weird.
But
it really
like I
feels
said,
weird just
PlayStation's now
lying in bed,
behind, right? So
playing
stuff
a
like
game
this,
Well,
on your
good.
phone.
stuff like this does not surprise me. Japanese developers and stuff are going, hang on a minute, these American motherfuckers are making some pretty smart business moves,
Hmm.
and if we want to stay ahead of the curve, we need to get on their good side. So of course,
And like
a lot more people are gonna go, let's give them a go.
even with E3, you can see how Sony started to fall behind even more because a
Yeah.
lot of people, when they watch the Nintendo and the Xbox showcases, they're like, "Oh yeah, these are sweet," but you've barely heard anyone talk about like anything good from the Sony like showcase.
Well, there was no Sony showcase this year. They backed out of it.
Yeah,
They said they're gonna do their own thing like next week or something.
that's
Why?
gonna be interesting because like
E3 is like the biggest gaming event
E3.
of the fucking year.
like the only time it makes sense for someone to not do an E3 is if it's a specific like brand like Pokemon or
Yeah.
it's the Nintendo doing their Nintendo Directs.
Yeah.
Like that makes
And
sense.
even then,
Sony has always been part of E3.
even then, you think about it, Nintendo Directs, they sort of coincide them with an E3, right? So
Yeah.
you'll see that they'll probably discuss with the E3 event organizers and say, okay,
Oh, well, I know.
what's your schedule, so that we know where not to put a direct. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And then
It's
when they
in
put
their
a
best
direct
interest
out,
as well.
yeah,
Because
when
if
they
they
put out the
conflict with an
direct,
event that's an E3, they're going to have people deciding, okay, which one do I watch, rather than just going,
Exactly.
okay, well, it doesn't coincide with anything, I can watch it, so I will.
And that's one thing I loved about like previous years with E3 and Bungie, is they've done their own like
Mm.
announcement thing on the Friday or Thursday or Tuesday beforehand, where they've basically gone, look, we've got Shadowkeep, or look, we've got Beyond Light, and this is what it's
Mm.
going to look like. And then E3 comes around and they send a travel team out to E3. You know, they have like a Bungie booth. They have like different article writers interview them. You have like E3 and Twitch representatives, because obviously it's broadcast on Twitch anyway, as well as
Yep.
other platforms. You have all these representatives go and interview them and go, okay, so you've announced this. What is it? Here's a bunch of questions about it. They answer all these questions, and you end up with a two-pronged approach, essentially, of, okay, we've announced it on our terms, but then also we are making the wider community available to know what it is, people that aren't necessarily part of the Destiny community or part of Bungie's community, to know what it is, because we are actively being interviewed by Twitch staff, by IGN, etc., etc. Do you know what I mean? At E3. Yeah. So even when they do their own thing, they don't miss out on E3, because they understand E3 is the biggest gaming expo of the fucking year.
Mhm.
Like,
And that's for the games.
Yeah.
Alternatively, we've got some things going on for the gaming community.
yeah. And we're going to move on to the Destiny things. Oh, one thing I do want to, because we sort of interjected another, although I included those two topics about Microsoft in the Twitch, like, grouping, if you will.
Yeah.
If we're going to sort of make a gaming and miscellaneous thing, because we do essentially cover a couple of topics here and
from
there.
time
like,
to time we do have bits that
Yeah.
don't really fit into the other two.
Yeah, so like we had the Apex thing about ALGS. Whilst yes, it's broadcast on YouTube and Twitch, it's not necessarily a Twitch topic. Quickly before we go on to the Destiny thing, I want to just in case they see this, I want to congratulate the Wally Catchers, the team who I was personally supporting in the ALGS NA region, of Kotagami, Mr. Greek God, and Stink TV. I've mentioned them a couple times on the podcast before. I met Cody through Anne, who was in Favored with me on Destiny, and he plays like pro level Apex. they all three tweeted out the GIF earlier of signing a contract, and they've been signed to an org and are going to announce it. I think relatively soon. So
Ooh, announcements to come.
yeah. So I
Okay,
want to
stay on your
I
toes
just
for
wanted
that
to
one,
sort of interject that there real quick before we move on to the Destiny thing.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely get that up there.
But yeah, so going on to Destiny things, we've got the Destiny toaster.
Yep. I mean,
The funniest thing of this, the first image I saw of this, the first thing I thought is someone's house smells horrible now because that is burnt toast.
Yeah. Well, here's the
Yeah.
thing, right? It started as a meme.
It did. It did.
Because people call the Jotun the toaster.
Jotun, the toaster.
Right? So Bungie
And
turned around and went,
then-
okay, we'll make it a reality. Right? If you raise X number amount.
Yeah, it was all the
which obviously
sevens.
it's all sevens.
Because it's Bungie, they love 7.
Yeah, we'll make a Destiny toaster.
They said they would
we'll
maybe make one, and then they followed through with it. So.
Yeah, they maybe
The fact they
would
followed
make
through is a good thing.
Yeah, they said we maybe make a official Destiny toaster that was, originally it was we'll model it over the Black Armory and potentially Jotun as well. But
Alright.
as Gina's just put in the chat, if you're not saying that the toaster is a rip-off, I can't cope. That is essentially where I was about to go with it.
Oh yeah.
You've got some images there, but the first one is just not loaded. So if you just click through to show some of them on the stream, so they can see the glory in air quotes of the toaster.
Someone is going to make a better case for it within the first day of getting it. Like, there's probably people already making a better version of the toaster case.
What people want was for the case to look like.
Yeah, people wanted it to look like Jotun.
It's fun. I'll give them that. It was fun.
Like, it would make sense because that was the whole point of the meme, right? I get it, maybe they had issues with getting that to work, but in the age, I've seen a tweet earlier, and I don't know whether it's actually in the next sort of section, but
it probably is if it's the one I'm thinking
of. Where somebody turned around and said, in the age of 3D printing and stuff, to argue that you can't get something to look like something is actually
that's hilarious because
what we'd said just before you turned up.
Yeah,
just saying,
it's actually hilarious.
Looking at the thing, it wouldn't be particularly difficult if you were to take the handle and the dial, 3D print a Jotun shaped case. You could put the entire toaster in an enclosure and just move the switches to have an extra beam that goes between where you actually pull the thing and the actual lever where it is there, and then that's probably just like an electronic switch thing. You can move that and just have wires going to it.
You could. The funniest thing about how easy it is with 3D printing and how ready available it is for people to do stuff like this. I have a 3D printer right next to my laptop right now.
Oh, I'm so envious.
My
so
friend,
much fun.
My friend Steven has a 3D printer, and he actually prints models out. He'll print things out, and then he gets my friend John, who did art in university, I believe. He's essentially a qualified artist, right? He'll get him to paint them up, and some of the models I've seen come out of those two in conjunction with each other, him 3D printing something and then John painting it are fucking great. I'll have to get some images and maybe show them on the next episode, since we're obviously mentioning about 3D printing in this one.
Of course.
Just to get slightly back on topic, did you see the tweet that was directly under this in the doc?
I've got it open. There we go.
Which was what reminded me that this was now a thing anyway. I'd seen this tweet this morning from Sutlage.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can see the entire thread or not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't see the thread. He says this is interesting. So we've got the picture of this toaster, and he'd found a very similar looking toaster with obviously different branding and stuff. And it led him to a company that make these toasters.
Yes.
And they basically have a toaster, just that one toaster, right? And they go, you can go to them with an idea, like as a company, you can go, okay, we want this particular brand of toaster. And they do all sorts of different ones, like you can see just poking out if you think about
WWE as
what they
well.
do is they have a toaster, and you can add a custom shaped hot plate to put like an engraving on your toast, and a print on the case.
That's insane.
What?
And of course, someone had to make a minion toaster. Why not?
Yeah.
So it was
Someone says those
3,000
are all
toasters,
pretty
by the
cheap.
way.
Yeah,
so
those,
now,
those are all pretty cheap.
There's a couple of things for the price of the particular toaster that we've got for the Destiny one. Is that obviously
You get
it's
an
low
in-game
volume.
emblem and stuff.
It's low volume. You get an in-game emblem, and I think was it either 10 or 20% is going to St. Jude.
Yeah, something like that.
Which shouldn't increase the amount, but you know.
Basic toaster for like Ace. That's insane.
But yeah, but if you're not really bothered about the tricorn hot plate, you can probably find a toaster of pretty much exactly the same design without the print
Oh,
for
easily.
very cheap. Because I
I
mean,
mean, there's one there for $30.
Yeah, I mean, if you look there, minimum order 3,630 pieces. This company is used to doing very, very high volume. You know, this is branding, get it out there. You know, it's not supposed to be something that you go, okay, this is going to give me the highest quality toast. I'm going to spend thousands on it. You know.
This is going to give me toast with funny shape.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, which means as well, like, they sell them cheap, which means it looks like, I said it looked like the Destiny one was made of cheap plastic, and basically it will be, judging by you know how cheap the rest of these are. So essentially, what you're paying the extra, if you go from the WWE, right? Because out of all of these
That's
toasters,
probably like
it's the most expensive, and it's probably the one that you're paying for the brand rather than
Yeah.
right.
the
So
like
if you
with-
if you compare
with
it
most
to
things.
if you compare it to the Destiny one, where you would again probably just be paying for the brand and the novelty of owning a Black Armory toaster that can print a tricorn on it, you instead of
Like-
paying $35, I think the US are paying $85. So for the extra $50, you're getting 10% or 20% or whatever it was that Kit just said going to St. Jude and an in-game emblem. Somehow
Yeah.
I don't think that's fucking worth it.
Yeah. Like, that's kind of like the tirade I had last night about stop making cosmetics a pre-order bonus.
Yeah.
yeah, you could. I mean, you could just buy whatever $5 toaster or whatever. It's probably not that hard to make yourself a hot plate. Not saying you should because it's not the most safe.
I mean, yeah.
And whatever money you've got left, straight to the charity.
I mean,
You know, the entire
I mean,
St. Jude
my
No,
buddy,
ignore it.
um,
is going on as well.
my buddy Steven, who I mentioned does the 3D printing. He's also one of those people who believes humanity needs to evolve to become part machine and stuff like that. Like, he has microchips in him, right? So he's pretty tech savvy. He's pretty tech savvy as well. Okay,
I
he
remember.
can
I watched.
he can
a security
access
guy, like an ID card in his wrist.
Yeah, basically that's what he's got. The microchips in his wrist are exactly the same as that, the ID card. He goes to his PC and he puts his wrist up to a scanner and it turns on. Because it recognizes that it's him and only him. Right?
See,
But
I've
my
seen
point-
enough
my point
sci-fi
being,
horror
he
movies
is-
to know that's not a good idea yet.
My point being, though, he is tech savvy as well. So really, I really wanted to, I could go and find the cheapest one of these toasters, right? So, for argument's sake, because there's no price on the Minion one, in the ones that we have, the Captain Marvel one, right? There might be a cheaper one that is just plain that I can go to this company and get. I could take it to my buddy Steven, probably to show him a picture of Jotun. He would like sort of sort it out to where he could 3D print that as a body for the toaster, and then probably get it to work exactly how this toaster will work, and I'd probably do it cheaper than the $85 that they're fucking charging. And it would actually look like Jotun as it was intended to. Do you know what I mean?
You can probably get it like I think the guy put his working and diagrams and stuff up, just like open source and that. But there was someone I don't know if you saw it. They had like a 3D printed Jotun with all the lights and everything. So when he holds a button, like it sort of expands and charges up, and the lights start to glow and stuff.
Oh wow!
And
I hadn't seen that now.
Yeah, I can't remember where I saw that. It was a while ago, like, but I'm pretty sure he put like some of the diagrams and stuff up for people to replicate if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Because like he just made it. It was like a hobby project. He just made it. He wasn't gonna like sell them or anything.
But yeah, I looked at it, saw that it was like $85, nearly 90 euros, I believe, and it's like that's not even including shipping and shit. It's like
I'll put it this way: that's even worse New Zealand price-wise.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Because that'll be over $100 without shipping, and shipping to New Zealand is insane anyway.
Yeah. And whilst we're on the subject of like international sites, like Bungie, for instance, you want us to buy stuff in the UK from the EU version of the Bungie.net store, like the Bungie store. Give us the option to see how much it's going to cost us in British pounds. Holy fuck! There are fucking websites like Fiverr that can do it.
Kind of gotta laugh when they don't do that sort of thing, eh?
Yeah. But anyway, right. So moving on, the TWAB isn't exactly meaty this week. I did mention earlier this week when I sort of said we were having Dragos on and the podcast was being put back a day, that it did give us opportunity to look through and cherry pick a few topics so we could just talk about those if it was a meaty TWAB. Turns out it isn't. It's just basically saying, look, GMs are coming, this is what's going to be available, and giving us the official announcement of 1335 power needed to be in for nightfalls. So when you go into a nightfall, whether you're above 1335 or not, or on 1335, you will be 1335. But you also need to be 1335 to be able to launch them. So if you're 1328 like I am, you will need to power level.
Yeah.
So whilst it's obviously useful to have that information, you could sort of work that out from last season being 1325 and the fact that this season is the first season where we've only got a power increase of 10. Well, the pinnacle grind, it's kind of a given that it will go from 1325 last season to 1335 this season. Hello, like it's kind of a given. They're not going to randomly turn around and go, oh well, guess what? Now you have to be 1350.
I forgot something. It's mentioned like in the next section on the TWAB.
Right.
As well as the toaster, you get a sandwich box.
Oh, do you?
Oh my god.
It's just like
Wow.
It's just a sandwich box in the shape of a piece
What's
of
the
bread.
bet someone's going to already 3D print a better sandwich box?
I mean, admittedly, I like the emblem, right?
It's nice, yeah, but like
magazine for you.
I'm not gonna pay basically $50 for a fucking emblem.
Yeah, I feel that. That's like whenever I see now a game that's like pre-order the deluxe version, I look if there's something physical and worth it. Otherwise, I'm just buying the standard version.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought the digital deluxe edition of Beyond Light on Xbox, and then won a version of it on PC from Katie
Look,
I
Cat.
love that.
in the weird place
Oh,
of. Well, okay, I bought the standard edition on one platform. I think that was. Yeah, I think I bought the deluxe on PC and the standard on Xbox because there was little point me getting the season pass twice. That transfers.
Hmm.
But
But
obviously
yeah.
ownership of the DLC. So
I don't, but this is the thing. I was
used-
playing on Xbox, but every now and then jumping on PC to help Fiend with you, Kit. And then obviously was planning to upgrade to PC at some point, so I needed to buy it at some point anyway. But then Katie Cat was running like 4 subs, a thank you competition. Essentially, every 50 subs, I think it was, should do a giveaway for a digital deluxe edition on whatever platform you wanted. And because I already had it on Xbox, I didn't obviously want it on Xbox. I thought, makes sense. I have it on Steam, then it's there waiting for me when I do move to PC, and I could use it on GeForce Now when I was helping Bean out with things with Kitsune. The other option was getting some of her merch or Sneak, because she's partnered with Sneak, for free. And it was like, well, yes, whilst I do want both of those, and I actually do use her creator code whenever I order Sneak to support, OBK Cat.
Yeah.
If I am going to have Sneak or her merch, I'm going to buy it myself. I'm going to support it myself. I'm not going to get it for free. Whereas the giveaway for the game, DLC, she is buying it from like a code website or whatever, and then gifting me the code, and then I'm putting the code in, and boom. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, it's a completely different like sort of aspect to it.
So that's the way I was looking at it. But anyway, like where was I going with that? I forgot.
This is the rabbit hole the toaster takes us down.
I'd forgotten what I was gonna say then. Oh, yeah, that was it. Yeah, I bought those because it wasn't just because I got the No Time to Explain or whatever like digital in-game digital in-game items for me to use. Do you know what I mean? It was the fact that, like Kit said, it came with the season pass. Not only just the season of the hunt that came with Beyond Light, that edition came with the season pass for the whole year. So I didn't have to worry about it until Witch Queen. So I looked at that and it was like, that's a value for money. But no, I completely understand, like, yourself, because often you'll get things like pre-order bonuses. Umpteen times I lost count where a pre-order bonus from like Halo Reach, for instance. I pre-ordered Halo Reach. I went and bought it and grabbed it from city, and had the bonus thing for a couple of weeks, and then they released it as a buyable add-on on the stores of the consoles.
Like,
and
there's
and
no
stuff.
point.
Like, why? Like, that makes it less exclusive.
Want
What's
the
the
money.
point in me? Exactly. That's the way I looked at it. Is like the value for money for me is more, rather than am I getting some exclusivity digitally? If I had the money, would I have bought the edition of Beyond Light that came with the like Exo Stranger and the bag and all that? Yeah, sure I would. But I didn't have the money for that, so I didn't buy it. But yeah, and then obviously you've got your Prime Gaming, like things for Destiny. I need to actually claim that at some point this week, because I don't think I've claimed that one yet. I claimed the last one.
Yeah, I think I've got most of the things in this bundle. I know I've got the emote and the ghost.
I don't know what I've got.
I don't think I've got the ship. I know about 50% on whether or not I put the sparrow. But Destiny player support, what's this team got in store for us? Aside from the reminder that, hey, this is how cross save works if you don't already know.
I'm sorry.
Um,
I'm sorry. When did cross save become a thing? Like
Right, I think
right before
because we're getting a little
Shadow
bit closer
Keep,
to
right?
cross play, they're looking at going, okay, well, if you do want to try and play with the people on your platform, you need to make sure that you've got those accounts set as cross save so you can use them from anywhere. Especially with the game now being free to play, you don't have to go and buy the game on other platforms as well to then
True.
try and
Yeah.
play it there with people on your platform of choice.
But at the same
Like
time, the way I was
I'm playing on Steam the entire time. I'm using my Xbox characters.
yeah, same. But my point I was gonna be is like it's been here long enough now that people should know. And even if somebody didn't start playing Destiny until, like, for argument's sake, the September before Beyond Light, all the DLC except Beyond Light, because obviously at that point it wasn't out, went on to Game Pass, right? And then Beyond Light on the day of release went on to Game Pass. There was a shit ton of new Xbox players that joined. Me and Kit were in an Xbox clan at that point, and I was one of the Sherpas. The amount of people I had to teach how to do a dungeon was crazy. Like, that's what led to me turning around and going, okay, I can solo flawless these fucking things. Because I was flawlessing them whilst having somebody else or two other people with me. And that's still what I call my claim to fame, if you will, is that I've done those solo flawlesses at 30 FPS.
I love that.
But yeah, like the point I was gonna make is we was always saying to people when they was like, oh, I wish I could play with my friend who's on PlayStation. It's like, the game is now free to play. You just won't have your DLC because you've got it on Game Pass. And even if you bought the DLC on Xbox, you wouldn't have the DLC on PlayStation because you have to buy it again. But you have to activate cross save. And so we would so the people in the community have taught people who didn't know about cross save about cross save. I don't feel like you need to put reminders in and just. Essentially, what I'm saying is, in a otherwise unmeaty TWAB, it feels like they just put this in to make it look meatier. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, it's filler. It is basically filler.
It is filler.
And then
and we
you've
do
got
get it fairly often.
rewards
It's
for
like
Vault of
the
Glass.
next section is, players who are interested in purchasing the raid ring or the raid jacket have got until the end of June, basically, near enough.
Yeah.
June 30th, 9:59 a.m. PDT, so that's their time, to claim the rewards
Lovely.
on your rewards page, which they'll email you about if you got it still waiting anyway. It'll be on the page. You'll probably get a notification in game as well. It doesn't really need to be here.
Exactly.
Anyone who's eligible and has it waiting by now probably isn't going to get it.
Yeah. They've either ordered it or they haven't, or they aren't going to get it.
Yeah.
And then previous season rewards. So right now you can't. Do not refresh when selecting different characters in the browser. Players encounter the issue. Still claim a previous season pass rewards on all characters by the companion. So issues and stuff like that. This thing here, the known issues, the flashing waypoint, 150 synth strand, even if there's no more bounties to acquire. I think it should just not even show you. You should, if you have 150 synth strand, you should fucking know and just go to her. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There shouldn't be a cap on how much you can carry of that either. Like, it should be like glimmer.
Well, at the very least, if they're gonna have a cap on it, the cap be like enough to buy all of her things that week.
Yeah.
Or that season, however. I mean, often the bounties thingy.
But my point being is I should be able to just like save the shit up if I'm not looking to do cosmetic transmog things. Do you know what I mean? I should just be able to save it up, and then go and buy the bounties and stuff to get the other things to then do if I feel like I want to change my look. Because right now, having it fucking flash to me every time I have 150 strand even,
Get a little annoying.
telling me, here, go and get this bounty, telling me, like, when I'm on the director, oh, you've got something in the tower you need to do, and I'm happy with the
And
look of
yeah.
all 3 of my characters. I'm basically like, Ada 1, can you fuck off back to wherever it was you were between Season of Arrivals and now? Like, I don't need you anymore. Get the fuck
What
out
do
of
you mean
here.
wherever she was? She was in that room the entire time. It was just closed.
Yeah,
She was just redecorating it for us.
exactly.
The decorations need to be done with the utmost care. No one can be allowed in or out.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing. I need to
Just
try and find. I'm
imagine
sure
if
there's a
she'd done all
lore thing
that.
of what
Yeah,
the darkness
imagine-
did to the Black Armory, to make it so that like Scourge of the Past went away as a raid. Because now, obviously, we've got in the Botsa district the Elixni Quarter in the season of the Splicer story, right? Think about it.
Mhm.
If there is no law there to say, okay, the Black Armory in the Botsa district was shut down and moved away or whatever after we completed the Scourge of the Past raid, because when you
Mhm.
think about it in a story standpoint, you would have done that raid once, not like thousands of times that people have done it.
Yeah.
Because if not, the whole thing with the previous story beats from a couple of weeks ago, where some humans from the last city went and smashed up the ether tanks and stuff for the Elixni, kind of loses its sting a bit, because you're like, well, motherfucker, you are sat on top of the Black Armory that could just vault that could just reproduce them. Do you know what I mean? We need some lore to say where that fucker went. Otherwise, it's kind of like, there's that sting there, but then you remember, wait, the Black Armory vault's right there. Why the fuck did they not just use that? Because the whole point
got a
of,
question.
the Kel Scourge going to do the Black Armory thing, lore-wise, was to gain technology. But yeah, well, and then we go into movie of the week, which is, check out God Rolls 2 movie of the week. Momentum, I actually seen this a few weeks back, and I voted on this to be a movie of the week. And then we didn't get it in a 12 for a couple of weeks, and I was like, God damn it, this should have been in. It's basically like a montage thing, so be sure to go check that out. It's pretty funny.
Interesting.
Pretty good watch. And then you've got Velocity 2, which is a Code of the Missile montage, which I was gonna say that emblem there looks like Barbaric Ham, and it is. So go and check that out as well, because Barb is renowned for being the Yeetus Deletus Missile Titan.
You just delete us. Love that.
And then obviously you got your artist of the week and a bunch of things, and then obviously their closing statements with regards to There we go, reconnection successful. And we're back.
Hey.
Sorry about that, there was a bit of a fucking disconnect issue with OBS. Like, these guys could still hear me in Discord, so it wasn't my, like, connection to my PC. I guess it was just the upload for
When all
the
goes
stream,
wrong,
but,
hashtag blame OBS.
hashtag blame Twitch. I'm saying it was
Yeah.
a Twitch issue, because my OBS instant connects to Twitch. Like, I've signed into the
Oh yeah.
Twitch section
Yeah,
of
yeah.
OBS.
Yeah,
not
so it's just
using
like
my key.
instantly there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
yeah,
what were you saying about the World Glass thing?
we are going to be getting the master version
Yes,
of VOG soon. So
that is on its way. Because we've got the challenges coming out already, haven't we?
yeah.
So that
In
can't
fact,
be too far
let
behind.
me
Do we have a date for
open
that?
this
I
up real
don't
quick.
recall seeing a date for that in the TWAB.
I don't think it's in the TWAB, no, but we will bring up the
Might be
calendar.
one of the tweets or something. Or it'll be on it'll be on that.
So, June 15th,
Oh, yeah,
which...
July 6th. So July
wow.
6th is the difficulty for Vault.
So, Vault of Glass
It's-
challenges started Tuesday just gone.
Yeah.
And then
Master is...
Master is...
same day as Solstice.
Solstice, yeah, so July 6th.
So there's that to look forward to as well.
Anybody who
actually.
doesn't know about the raid challenges, it is basically just those challenges that were in the second version you had to complete on day 1 of Vault of Glass. So it's the triumph for actually doing the day 1. The second version of Vault of Glass. The one that if you failed the challenges, it would kick you out. Or force you to restart the encounter, right?
Yeah, just restart the encounter.
So yeah. But yeah, that being said, that's basically everything we've got for this week, I believe.
Yeah, it is. We didn't have an awful lot to talk about, but boy, did we manage to talk about it.
Yeah, and because I was
just went
late,
down the
we
rabbit
did
hole.
go over.
Yeah. In fact, it wasn't too bad because we only went over by the amount you were late, so we're just perfectly fine for time.
Exactly.
Gotta love that.
Alright, so let's
Get
have
the
a
regular
look who we're
time,
gonna
just a little bit
raid,
later.
and Kit, if you want to do the usual
Yeah, sure.
outro stuff.
We've had it started late. We had a little bit of a technical hitch just before, and then we had some issues earlier on. So if you're still here, thanks for sticking around with us. If you're watching the VOD or on YouTube or on one of the audio platforms, eventually, thank you. What was the very next thing I was going to say?
A question for Dragos.
Yes. Thank you, Dragos, for coming on. It's been
No worries.
real nice talking to you. A bit of a chill before the podcast as well. That was real exciting.
Yep.
Okay. Obviously, to the time, it's sort of a bit like today. Maybe not late, but we'd arrange it so it didn't necessarily have to be on our Thursday or your Friday morning. To be on Saturday morning, whenever. But like, if we were to invite you back on again for another round, would you be up for that at some point?
Yeah, I'd be completely willing.
Wonderful. And is there anyone that you'd want to be on with, or if you particularly want to see us talk to on the podcast?
Preferably someone.
Mates.
Preferably somebody who can contribute to the Destiny portion of the conversation, but it doesn't necessarily have to be if there's like a quiet week on the Destiny front.
I think of like a couple of my mates because one of them's just started up streaming again, so he does a lot of Destiny stuff. He might be down for it. I pretty much tries to solo or trio flawless raids and everything.
Wow.
If you're wondering his Twitch handle, it's BNNA.
BNNA.
Yep.
Okay.
His symbol is literally a banana.
That's kind of cool.
Alright, he's a great guy to talk to as well. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I echo exactly what Kit said. Thanks for coming on. I apologize for being late because, again, I completely forgot because of, lethargic reasons, essentially.
We'll just make sure you have the armor next time.
I was gonna say, speaking of like the fact that obviously I was late because I was playing with Wig. We'll go on raid Wig. Let me just refresh this to see. But
yeah,
I think.
Well, who else is there?
I'm thinking instead we can go over to GG, just because GG is a member of the Just Wipe It crew, And I want to, show support to the clan guys and ladies where I can. So let's peek on over there. But like I said, I want to echo exactly what Kit said. Dragos, thank you very much for coming on.
No worries.
Excuse me. For anybody who is here live, you know the drill by now. When we get over there, if you want to spam my emotes, which I'm sure Kit will, there you go, Kit's put in chat. And if you are not a sub and don't want to use channel points to unlock them for 24 hours, that's completely fine. You can use the Twitch global emotes, which are the Tomb Raid and Twitch Raid emotes, which are the two that Kit has just put in the chat. There.
I'm getting good at this.
And I just make sure I've spelt GG's name right. I have. There we go. Let's put that command through. But yeah, thank you very much everybody for watching, chilling. Whether it be live on Twitch with us or on the other platforms, listening on the Spotify platform, the podcast platforms like Spotify, tune in, and I always forget the fucking list, you know that, Kit. Or tuning in and watching it on YouTube, we very much appreciate it. I do have a few more plans for things on my YouTube, so maybe I might set up a podcast one to put these all on. But then I would have to download them and then upload them, because I wouldn't be able to connect another YouTube channel to my Twitch channel. As far as I'm aware, anyway. So yeah, but yeah, we'll see you on the next one, and appreciate everybody for coming out, chilling, and hanging out, and we'll see you then. Peace.
Bye.